Hello and welcome back to the Conscious Contact podcast. My name is Genay Peavey and I am here with my good friend Angela. And it is a pleasure to have you. I've wanted to have you on the podcast for forever.
Well, thank you.
Firstly, just, curly hair.
Yes.
That's how we, I don't want to say that's how we got close. We definitely got close through Artist's Way.
Yes.
That's when I first started really getting to know you as a woman and your journey and your hair. I mean, inspired a lot because I think I was still straightening my hair then.
You were still straightening your hair then.
Ugh.
Yes.
Ugh. I look back at pictures now and I'm like, why?
Curly hair is so fun.
It is.
Oh my gosh.
So fun and frustrating. I think that we've got a lot that we could get into because I think that we're on the same level with a lot of different stuff. But when you got here, we were talking about what's in your head? What do you think you want to talk about? And you put it really well, and I'm going to do my best to reiterate it. Thinking about the circles of your life, the goals, the aspirations, the things you want to accomplish in your life, how much of that, how much of your life is lived in service to that and actually reflecting those morals and values that would get you to that place, and how much of your life isn't. Mm-hmm. And my immediate reaction was whoa, that's big stuff. Because it is. I mean, that's the deep down version of you as a human in your life and how you live it, to its core. And I think a lot of people don't ever really look at that. They just want the goals to materialize.
Yeah. And this past year was just a big birthday for me. I turned 50.
Did you?
And yes, I did.
Well, I'm sure no one is going to disagree with me. You don't look 50. And that is a big milestone birthday.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. And, I was thinking about it because now my daughter is grown and she's in college. Well, she's in grad school.
Oh
and so I kind of am at this place. I have a very blank canvas of my life, and I would like to travel and I want to be fit and I want to be active for as much life as I have on this earth. And so kind of what I've been thinking about is, but what actions am I taking to make that goal manifest?
Yeah.
Because I want to be fit, but then
am I doing
cake
it?
And cookies a lot. And I don't know that that's the building blocks my body needs, especially, as we're older, wiser, those kind of things. So I'm trying to be very adult.
Yeah, well, that's a high bar.
Yeah.
Adult. Do we ever reach that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ever going to be an adult. I try.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what we're talking about is what are you doing to try to live in the way that is the best for you?
Yes.
Or that's going to get you where you need to be.
Yes. And I've been thinking a lot about the people I spend time with, and are they a positive influence in my life or more of a negative influence in my life? Do I spend my time pursuing things that show limitless possibility, and do my day-to-day choices align with those goals of the life that I would like to live?
Yeah.
And so I'm finding that I'm learning I need to be mindful of choices that I'm making in relationships, food choices. That one's really hard.
I hear you.
Being active and being adventurous, just being open-minded to the world and to possibility.
Yeah. And you really hit the nail on the head for me with this whole conversation. It's such a big thought process, but it really does come down to those micro choices that you make every day.
Yes.
Do I take my vitamins in the morning or do I forget about it? Which is really just placing priority on something else. Mm-hmm. Do I scroll social media for a couple of hours or do I clean my house? And it starts with that. And I know it starts with that inflection point. Do I pick up the smoothies fruit or do I go grab a piece of cake? It is those tiny interactions where you have to pause or you're just going to make a knee-jerk reaction or you're not going to think about it enough to see the big picture. And you can't get to your larger goals and aspirations in life without looking at your tiny choices. Those are the hard ones because
Yes.
you just, doing them all the time. And who you hang out with, that's a huge one. And I think that could be the entirety of our conversation. Was there a point, like, that inflection point where you realized these people are not feeding me? Like, have you had like, I know I have had a huge change in like the core group of people that you're surrounding yourself with?
I would say the biggest change for me, and again, turning 50 was a big impetus for looking at all of these things. And, I have women that I'm accountable to, and I have luckily a large handful of women that I trust
Yeah.
and that always lead me to spiritual guidance or I want to, I don't know, right and wrong, but to right choices or
Yes.
healthier choices.
Yeah.
And they challenge me to just rise to a higher standard for myself.
Yeah.
Or, so that's, I'm paying more attention to who I feel energized after I spend time with versus who I feel sapped of energy.
Yeah. And do you feel, I don't know if we've ever like really gone into this. You seem from the outside looking in like an extroverted introvert. Does that match up?
I would actually say I'm an introverted extrovert.
Oh, I
Yes.
like that.
Because I really need my my downtime, my time with my higher power, with who I choose to call God. I really need that to recharge my batteries.
Yeah.
And I really like spending time with myself and my
too.
higher power.
Yeah.
And, and reading and meditating and spending a lot of time in prayer and gratitude as a practice for my life.
Yeah.
And so I really need those things. And then I do well peopling. Then
Yeah.
I do well with my more extroverted things, which I'm always, I would say I'm always outgoing.
Yeah.
But I'm very introverted at heart.
Yeah. It's so funny because, you only see someone's exterior projections, and you have always been, from literally the first day that I met you, I don't know if you remember that, but you were with another group of ladies after a book study, we'll say, and you just came up to me afterwards and was like, "Hey, how are you? It's great to meet you. I'm so glad you're here." And that was like my first foray into having women approach me that were genuine. Like that didn't feel like had an ulterior motive, that I trusted without knowing, that you genuinely did seem interested in the fact that I was there and participating in something. And that was weird. That was super weird for me. And I always see you as bright and bubbly and outgoing, and you make people feel comfortable, which is like that's a hard task.
I remember you being a little bit
Yes.
wide-eyed the first few times that we spoke, but that was kind of when you were developing the idea of the Renew Planner as well.
Yeah.
And so that was really exciting because I think it was shortly after that we started the Artist Way together.
Yeah, it was. Gosh, and that's so long ago now. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, years just happen, and that is scary. And that's kind of what we're talking about, like it's gonna pass regardless. But what are we doing every hour, every minute, every moment of the day to get us closer to who we want to be, the life we want to live, all that stuff, and how much it depends on the small, tiny actions that you make and not the huge life changes, because those are necessary a lot of the times. I think me and you both know that. But it really is the tiny stuff. Like for me, this is something that comes up again and again and again. If I know that I need to do something, say wipe off the counters or do the dishes or change the laundry over, if I allow myself to second guess that or to, give myself a break or say I'll do it in 5 minutes, it's not going to get done. It's not going to get done. And if I just go, as soon as I have the thought, if I just stand up and go do it, wow. life just opens up into a whole new realm. And I feel the same way about exercise. I feel the same way about making choices at the grocery store. Like, I don't let myself ruminate on it because then I just start acting out of my emotions
Yeah.
instead of the
I
rational
can
shit.
talk myself out of anything.
Yes.
Even with the like being active in the gym, I've even been, I'll go for 15 minutes because I can get 15 minutes in no matter what. Or I can climb stairs at work for 10 minutes, That way I can't, it's a tiny enough piece to bite off that I can't talk myself out of it. And then usually once I start, I end up doing a little bit longer.
Yes.
And I do agree, though. My closest mentor, she always says, we can't handle the big things unless we handle the little things.
Yeah.
And it's how we handle the little things that teach us how to handle the big things.
Yeah.
So I think I agree with you, like whether it's the things right in front of me that I need to do and need to do correctly and, or at least to the best of my ability, but doing it.
Yeah. Just doing it. I think that I over intellectualize things a lot, and I would be living more to my ethics, my values, my morals, what I want my life to be if I just did it.
Yeah.
Instead of just thinking about it all the time and wondering, oh, well, should I eat this way or have this meal plan or go to this grocery store or whatever, when I haven't even, decided on what I'm going to have for lunch right then.
Yeah.
It's,
I'll
I
eat
caught
a
up.
cookie while I come up with my
Yes.
healthy meal plan.
Yes.
It's not at all smart.
It's not helpful.
No.
It doesn't work. I wish it did. But balance as well, because I don't know about you, but I'm going to completely write it off if I don't do it 100%.
That's been a big issue for me is I just will get paralyzed because there's so much to do that I'll do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels too overwhelming, too big.
Yep.
And I've even sometimes and I feel like, I'm just learning at this life thing. But sometimes even just setting a timer, like let me do what I can do in 10 minutes.
Yes. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. But it definitely can just be overwhelming, and I can feel like if I can't get it all done, I'll do nothing.
Yeah. Or if I had one Oreo, I might as well eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
why not? And it's so like self-flagellating when we do that. It's just that nasty talk inside my head, because just because one moment is bad doesn't mean the rest of your day needs to be.
Right.
Just because you have an Oreo, like, that's okay. That's what balance is. Like,
Yes.
an Oreo is like a serving. And that would be growth for me.
Yeah.
I can then, have a healthy dinner and eat a correct portion size and not just throw myself under the bus because of, and for me, it always comes back to like, well, again, like if I can't do it perfectly, or, oh, I've already made a mistake,
I've already blown it.
throw it away.
Yep.
Yeah. That's so bad.
It really
Like,
is.
I don't know. I've tried to figure out where that comes from. And the more women that I talk to, it seems like I know men do it too, but no matter your background or, how they were raised or anything, so many women do that in like all different parts of their life. And it's like the sister of perfectionism almost.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And I think part of that, and this is getting off on a different.
I'm into it.
Okay.
Let's follow the tangent.
Let's do it. So the tangent is, if we look at like as little girls, the toys that we're given, we're given a little kitchen, we're given a baby doll, we're given, all these things end up being chores, and we have to be good at all of it. We have to be efficient. We have to take care of the entire family.
Yeah.
And, but the thing we don't learn is how to take care of ourselves.
Yes.
So now that's what I feel like I'm learning in life.
Yeah.
And I spent too many years trying to, all the plates that were spinning and trying to do it well, and then feeling like a failure because I couldn't do it perfectly.
Yeah. And I think that is a bigger issue for women as a whole, that narrative of being a caretaker, which is a great goal to have. I think that's necessary. And I think as
Yes.
women innately, we do have that capacity much more than men. But we have to have it for ourselves first.
Mm-hmm.
And that is really tricky. I don't think that is instilled, just like they don't teach. Well, I went to one school that did teach accounting, but you don't get taught in high school how to like have a good credit score. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you learn it through osmosis or like maybe an elective somewhere, but that should be like required learning. You don't learn like true life skills.
Yes.
Like I could deal with 2 less years of statistics and modeling and actually tell me how to live my life as an adult, which means I have to take care of myself first
Agree.
because I can't take care of anybody else.
Yes. And I feel like, looking back, I could have been a better employee all these years. I could have been a better mother. I could have been a better everything if I had just taken that 30 or 45 minutes first thing in the morning and then maybe even again at bedtime,
Yeah.
But it's so easy to want to numb out with television or with food
Yeah.
or
Especially after a long day. You're like,
yeah.
I deserve this.
yeah,
I
and
want to
at some
turn my
points
brain off.
in my life, alcohol,
Yeah.
I mean, and so it's just kind of this peeling these layers of all these things that I use for comfort or I have used that do not get me to that outer circle of life
Yes.
where I want to be.
I think, the word you used, comfort. I don't know, and I did a whole podcast episode on this. I don't know where we got this idea that being comfortable is what we should choose.
Yeah.
Being comfortable is an addiction.
Yes.
Like for me, and I can only speak for me, it's bad. And the more that you live in comfort and the more that you run to that to deal with your emotions and to numb out, the easier it is, hence comfort. And then when it comes to when you have to do something hard, I have no skills anymore because I've let that muscle wither away and die, and I'm just choosing comfort, comfort, comfort. So when I have to actually deal with my emotions instead of eat mac and cheese, I'm screwed.
yeah.
I have no practice anymore. I don't have the toolkit, or I might have it, but it's in the closet. And I got to dig through my coats and, that type of thing. But yeah, comfort as an addiction. I think that it has to do with the accessibility of social media and the endless scrolling of Netflix and all of those things, and food included. It is a convenience factor because it is harder to do the work.
Agree.
It is harder to make a smoothie.
Yeah, choosing character over comfort is definitely a challenge that some days are better than others, but it's definitely something I am more and more trying to align my life with.
That's the title of this episode, like 100%, choosing character over comfort. Because I think that is the piece that gets lost in the weeds. You're not just choosing something that's harder for hard's sake. You're choosing it because it's going to give you a better life.
And it's going to give you that goal.
Yeah.
Because we all have these goals that we're aiming for.
Yeah.
But choosing the hard thing now, makes it easier later.
Yes.
And choosing the easy thing now makes it harder later.
I don't know why that's so easy to forget.
It's so easy to say and it's so difficult to live.
It is. And I love what you said. Like, this is, lest anyone listening think that we're speaking from a place of like monk like Zen or that we've got this all. No. Every day is different. Some weeks are shit.
Yeah. And some days I score a 30% on this thing that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's just that I want to do better.
Yes.
I realize now, which in a way that maybe I haven't throughout the rest of my life, is it's these little choices that's creating the bigger picture.
Yeah. It does. I mean, that is the core of it. And if you can remember that like once or twice a day to begin with, you will inherently make it at least one or two better choices in the moment. And I don't think I'm ever going to get to 100%. That's not what
No.
I aim for. Like 50, I'm like, all
I would be
right.
really happy with like 60 or 70%
Yeah.
consistently.
Yeah. And that
Yes.
is the thing, consistently.
Mm.
And that's what I can't say I forget that a lot too with all of the stuff that we've been talking about with working out, with eating what we know is going to fuel our body the best, with hanging out with people we know are going to lift us up. If we're not doing it consistently, like if we just spend one whole weekend working out for 3 hours a day and drinking nothing but juice, the next week comes and we eat cake all week, we've done nothing.
Exactly.
We've spent all this energy and done the hard thing a lot, but it's not going to give us any results because it's not consistent.
Exactly.
That's why
Consistency is key.
yes, yeah, that's why that 15 minutes of working out every day is a huge deal
Yes.
because consistently over time,
Or
that
even
stacks.
15 minutes 4 times a week.
Yes, anything.
Yes.
Anything that you're constantly, consistently reminding yourself, I can do this. This is an easy step because if something, and this is how I try to look at big stuff like that, if it feels overwhelming, it's probably because you're looking at the big picture. Like if I want to be able to,
So good.
yeah, if I want to be able to hip thrust 200 pounds, I can't just start doing that today. Like I
Yes.
can't just go put 200 pounds on the bar and then assume that's going to happen. I'm going to feel defeated and then I'm like, oh, that's a stupid goal. I can never do it. But if I go and do 50 pounds today, I can add a pound every week. I can, slow, consistent, like that grinding process. And again, with convenience culture, that immediacy thing that we get addicted to, like instant results, that's what all the commercials are telling us is going to happen. Life doesn't work like
No,
that.
it doesn't. And some days it might just be, I'm going to make sure I drink 100 ounces of water
Hell
today.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some days that's enough.
Yeah.
Like make sure I pray on my knees, make sure
Yes.
I take some positive intake and drink lots of water.
Yes.
Just giving myself, sometimes I will literally, when I'm having a really hard time, I will make a little checklist. My little to-do list for the day might literally look like that.
Yes.
Pray on my knees, drink 80 to 100 ounces of water, and put something healthy in my body.
Yeah.
And that might be just the goals for the day.
Yeah. Quick tip for anyone. I always put get out of bed.
That's a good one.
Because you're already, I don't make my to-do list in bed, so I'm already done with one thing.
Yes.
Or like brush my teeth.
Give myself credit for the little things because sometimes, like periods of grief or anything else,
Yeah.
just sometimes it's the smallest of a positive choice.
Yeah,
that
or-
I have to give myself credit for.
I mean, I think everyone has to. Like, I feel like we must. Again, lest we fall into the idea that, things are going to happen overnight. Some days are going to be better than others. That's how life works.
Yeah.
And to be able to be okay with that is like the goal of all goals. Like some days are just going to be days.
Yeah.
That's okay, Or if I didn't get a walk in and all I did was sit on my front steps in the sun for 5 minutes, who gives a shit?
And also a healthy choice.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm still doing the thing that I want to do, which is get some vitamin D from the source and just chill.
Yes.
Give myself, whether it's 5 minutes, 2 seconds, whatever, that reprieve, because I need a midday reprieve a
Yes.
lot. And just giving myself that time, like saying, it's okay that you're frazzled. It's okay that your prayer and meditation from this morning has left your brain at this point in the day and that you're about to cuss someone out again. It's all right because I can start over right here.
That's right.
And
Start
it's
over
okay.
anytime.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's the lovely thing about being human. I mean, we are here to make mistakes. I think you can't grow if you don't make mistakes, in my opinion, just from the many mistakes that I've made. If I do everything perfectly, like what kind of life is that? Because I've seen that and I've had like super rigid routines before in my life and life is really stale. There's no room for adventure. There's no room for growth. It holds me where I'm at. And like, yeah, sometimes a week at a time, I might need that to, get back into the swing of things and set up some healthy habits that I can be consistent with. But if I make that like 2, 3, 4 months in a row of eating the same thing every day, of doing the same walk every day. I made it super rigid at one point, trying to like figure out why I was fighting so hard against different stuff. I would like wear the same thing each day of the week, like not the same outfit, but like on Mondays I would wear this thing and Tuesdays I would wear this thing, and just to see what was going on. And again, that got to be comfortable because I didn't have to think or, use my brain at all. And it got sticky. So like this thing that I think I want, this perfectionism, this, super rigid adherence to a schedule, it's not fun either.
No, and it would make it really hard to be your friend if you were that perfect.
Yeah, like how could we ever hang out?
Yeah.
I would have something to do. Like, no, I'm walking from
This time to this
12:05
time.
to yeah. Sorry, can't take your phone call. Like that wouldn't allow me to have all of the other like big pillars in my life. That wouldn't allow me to have connection with friends. That wouldn't allow me to have fellowship. It wouldn't allow me to go to dinner randomly with someone and celebrate or enjoy any of like the God shot moments that might happen in a day.
Yes.
Because I'm looking at my watch and this is this, and I feel like that leads me into resentment too, because God forbid something gets me off my schedule. The rest of the day, I'm just going to be a raging, angry maniac for no reason. I've done it to myself. It's my schedule. No one's holding me accountable. I don't work for a company. I am making myself angry. And damn if it doesn't, shock me every time that happens.
Yeah. I don't keep that rigid of a schedule.
Good. Nobody should. Let my experience show you what not to do. I definitely don't do that anymore. It's the complete opposite, which again, not healthy either. We're working towards the gray, like just staying on the road and out of the ditches. That's all you got to do.
Yes. Just trying to make more positive choices, more choices that are in alignment with my goals.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. Well, I say that's it. Like that's easy. That's all, folks.
Easy peasy.
It's not easy. And I think that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
You don't, again, I don't grow as a human if I'm not challenged. I just don't.
Me either.
I hate it.
Yeah.
When it's happening.
But like I can scroll on social media. You brought that up, and I don't feel bad about myself, but I don't feel good either. So I've gotten to where, I limit that very strictly just because it doesn't align. Because what ends up happening, whether I mean for it to or not, is there's that whole comparison thing.
Yep.
My life's better than this person's. My life is worse than this person's. I wish I could go all these places or whatever. And to compare is to despair.
Yes.
And it's not something that adds value. So I've gotten to where I just like limit that to 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Because I can be doing something that's more productive.
Yeah, like planning your own trip.
Yes.
Living your own life.
Or exactly. Or just sitting on a swing outside.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be productive as much as peaceful.
Yes.
I need more peaceful input in my life.
Yeah. My hole that I fall into with social media is consumerism. All the ads for stuff, or here's this, here's that, you need this, your life is going to change if you have that, you'll have this kind of life if you buy this. It's all bullshit. And like, I know that. And I've, I have a physical product that I sell online. So I understand how you're supposed to get buyers, which makes me shiver, which is so gross. And it's something that I'm trying to unravel that to be able to have a commerce business, because it does feel so inauthentic and cringy to me. And the product that I have to sell, to me, is the antithesis of that. It is supposed to be helpful.
Agree.
So it's really hard to quote unquote market that to people.
Yeah.
It is, if you don't know what I'm talking about, renewplanner.com, check it out if you are in recovery from anything. I am in recovery. I made it because I couldn't find something that fit that for me. I've used every planner under the sun, and I still have like 4 at a time going because I'm crazy. But something specifically for those like super early days in recovery, it was just so hard to, again, like be an adult.
Yeah.
and know what to do every day.
Yeah.
You know, I had all this free time
And I do
suddenly.
think, I mean, and we did not talk about that we were going to talk about this planner
No, we
at
did
all.
not.
We did not at all. But it is something that is very much in line with what we're talking about
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
And it does help you, especially in recovery. And I'm also in recovery, but it does help you to start to look at what to do each day, not to slip back into
Yeah.
whatever you're in recovery from.
Yeah.
It does help a lot with that.
Yeah, it helped me with consistency and seeing patterns in my behavior and how I felt after I either did or didn't do certain things in a
Yeah.
day. Because without that data, you're just kind of, throwing punches in the dark to see what's going to make you feel good. And I didn't know back then. Like, I had no clue what was actually healthy for me or good for me or even what I liked and didn't like anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it was
I
all
had no
open.
idea why I just always felt bad.
Yeah.
And a lot of it had to do with me continuing to make choices that were not lining up with what I actually wanted in my life.
Yes.
So even though I may be only a little better at it now than I was many years ago, it still continues to plant those seeds that God can bring to harvest in my life, because now I'm trying to plant seeds that are worthwhile instead of what I was doing then was kind of making me feel like my life was useless.
Yes. Yeah. And the more, like, with this whole conversation, the more I am able to have those small moments where I can realize, oh, here is the fork in the road. If I make this choice, I'm probably going to feel better in the moment, but it's going to suck later because I'm going to beat myself up for it because it's not in line with how I want to be and live my life. Or I can make this harder choice. However, it will be so fruitful afterwards.
Maybe I need to make like a thing to keep in my refrigerator or in my cupboard.
Ooh.
And put,
If you do, send it to me.
I think I will, because
Like a fork.
yeah. Like, this choice is going to make you really feel awful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or you're going to have to take Tums in about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Should you choose
Yes.
this. Yeah. That would be an amazing tool. Like, keeping that in your head, all of those like idioms, the sayings, they can feel cliche, but damn, if you write them down, like I used to have the acceptance prayer as the background on my phone for years. The more you see something, the more it gets ingrained in you.
Yes.
And the more you can remember it, even if it's this cliche saying that you don't understand at first, it makes a huge impact. And I think that I forget about that sometimes, and I just think, oh, well, that's a pithy saying, like, oh, that's nice. It's a nice idea. But if I can put that into practice in my life, I can make changes now. And I think that's kind of full circle what we're talking about. You don't have to wait, till next January when you are in the best shape of your life because you've worked out every day and eaten all that, you've done the right things. You can feel that way now.
Yeah, and just choose a few little simple things each day.
Yeah.
Things that are obtainable and sustainable.
Yes. Consistency. Yeah. No, for real.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect. I love that you came in with not really knowing what we were going to talk about, and you had a great hard-hitting topic immediately. I love this idea.
Yeah, I was a little afraid. It's like, come be on my podcast. There's
I
no
know.
subject matter, and I don't know what we're going to talk about. Perfect. Okay.
No pressure. No pressure. Yeah, it is hard, and even for me, like, having to come up with ideas and stuff, like, I do love that. I love that part of it. But it is also just a conversation. Like, that's why I originally started it. I want to have that conscious contact with you, just us talking. Like, I don't care what we talk. We could have talked about shoes for an hour and I wouldn't care.
I like shoes.
Yeah, that might be the next episode.
That could
then.
be.
And it always gets deep. No matter what you talk about, it could be wallpaper. It gets down to like, oh my God, I got to go look at my character defects after this type of thing, because that is the undercurrent of life for me and the people that I surround myself with. Hence the people that come on this podcast. It really is so much more than the surface level stuff.
Everything is.
It is. Well, if you want to get deeper, come check this. If you're listening and you can't see us, one, you're missing out. You should really go to YouTube and watch this so that you can see some phenomenal curly hair, first of all. I will get you to send me the products that you like, because I know a lot of people ask me, and I'll put both of our selections down in the bottom in case you're on that journey as well, because I know it's crazy and
Yes.
overwhelming, and it is hit and miss, and my stuff's going to be different than hers because my hair porosity is different.
And it's different seasons of the
Oh my
year.
God. In summer, or spring and summer are coming up, and I'm like, I don't want to have to
Oh,
refigure this out.
Jenny.
I know. I know. We'll update you on that. But come follow along. Come check us out. Let us know if there's a tiny change that you're making right now, or if
That
there's
would be awesome
yes
to like hear what people, maybe just one little thing they're thinking about
Yeah.
changing after hearing us, because I like getting ideas from other people and being
Yes.
inspired.
It's always more for me than it is for anyone else because
Yeah.
I'm selfish. But no, truly, it's so cool to have this be an actual conversation, not just between us, but for everybody else that's
Yes.
listening. So yeah, drop us something below if this made you think about a change you want to make, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you, Angela.
Bye.
Bye.